guys, what's up? Welcome back here to the channel, and much appreciated you guys joining me for today's video. And guys, today we're gonna be talking about some of the top techniques and lures to catch bass in the month of November on. At the time of filming this video, it's the 1st of November. And a lot of you guys that have watched my channels, you hear me talking about this a lot, but November is probably my top 2 favorite months of the year to fish. I love fishing in April and I love fishing in November. November is a special time of year. There's a lot of fish that are shallow, a lot of fish are active, a lot of different techniques that catch fish, and you can catch some quality fish. So I'm gonna go over today's video and I'm gonna talk about probably 5 or 6 of the techniques that I like to use in November, talk a little bit about the type of water, the baits I like to fish them in. I think it's gonna add up to some good fish for you guys. And also guys, all the baits today that I'm talking about, I'll be linking them in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to use the link to order those baits for November, it's a good way to support the channel. Much appreciated there. And also guys, thank you very much for everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button to the channel. I really appreciate that. And a big thank you from me and my family. Okay, November is characterized by the fish start to get more active. Now, fall time can be a tough time to fish, especially early and mid-fall. Water temperatures are still a little bit warm. Water temperatures are low. Water levels are starting to get low a little bit in most parts, and the fish have been beat on all year long. You got to think about it. By the time the fall rolls around, people have been fishing hard all year long. So there's a lot of different factors that contribute to fishing to be tough. Another thing with that is the thermocline has pretty much dissipated by then. So you have a lot of fish that use a lot of different water depths, depending upon the clarity of the body of water you're fishing. If you're fishing in a clear water environment in the month of November, you'll have fish anywhere between 2 foot down to 60 feet and everywhere in between. So a lot of different areas to look for the fish at, but I've got a couple things that always work for me that we're gonna go over today's video. Okay, the first one, guys, and I love this, man. This is probably one of my favorite ways to catch them, is fishing a buzzbait in the month of November. Megabass, a Jamaican boa buzzbait here. I like chartreuse or I like black sometimes, depending upon the day. If it's cloudy out, low light conditions, I like a chartreuse one. If the sun's out and I'm fishing like shady areas, the black seems to work a little bit better. But a buzzbait is an excellent lure in the month of November. And what you want to do is you just want to cover water with the thing in shallow water. It's a matter of just covering water. I like to fish coves for the most part. So in typical man-made lakes, I'll just get into the coves and I'll start at the point of the cove. I'll work the whole cove to the back and on the other side. You can literally get bites all through a cove during the month of November. Really good way to catch them. Obviously, if your lake has some type of shallow aquatic vegetation, that can be highly productive too. But you don't have to really have any cover per se in November when you're fishing a buzzbait. Some of my best days on a buzzbait have come just throwing the thing just on rocky banks and covering water. And another thing to remember about a buzzbait in the month of November, guys, is you have to slow it down. So try to fish the buzzbait as slow as you can just to keep those blades above the surface. And that is the big deal. If you're not going to catch many fish in the month of November, especially if that water temperature is in that 60 or below mark, unless you really slow it down, but you can catch some quality fish on a buzzer. Now, the next one, a lot of you guys that watch my channel a lot, you've heard me talking about this technique heavily the last couple of weeks because it's probably one of the top 2 or 3 ways to catch them, and that's burning a spinnerbait. This is that Megabass SV3 spinnerbait. This is the best burning spinnerbait out there. And in November, when that water temperature is in the 50s and 60s, I like to get on steep rocky banks, bluff banks, steep rocky banks, points, especially the ones that have a little bit of wind on it, and burn this thing like an inch underneath the surface. And I'll make long parallel casts down a rocky bank or fan cast all around the points and just fish it fast with a fast stop and go retrieve, not letting it go, but about that far under the surface. You got to keep it moving. If this spinnerbait gets a foot under the water, you're not going to catch many fish on it. Keep it up high in the water column. And again, like the buzzbait, it's a low light technique deal. So this is going to be a technique that works good early in the morning or late in the evening or on some type of a cloudy, rainy day. If you get a day, say for example, the water temperature is around 60 degrees in November, and you get one of those days where it's cloudy and the wind's blowing 10 or 15 miles an hour and maybe you got some misty rain, perfect scenario for burning the spinnerbait, especially if you have water visibility of over 3 feet. And that's what you really have to have. You need water visibility of over 3 feet for this to work. And probably one of the best ways to catch them on it is get on a bluff bank, main lake or creek bluff bank, on those type of conditions, and just parallel that bluff, burning the spinnerbait down. It's a great way to catch them, especially if you have a mixed species like largemouth spotted bass and smallmouth in the lake you're fishing. It works really good. Okay, the next one, guys, is a finesse jig. A finesse jig is hard to beat in the month of November. It's probably my favorite jig to fish then. This is my Blaukat Power Finesse jig, Cumberland Pro Lures. I'll link that in the description. A little 1/2 ounce or 3/8 ounce finesse jig, some type of a brown or green combination. I like brown or green with purple in it. Green pumpkin trailer, same type of deal. Rocky banks, steeper rocky banks. I just throw this thing up on steep rocky banks and just hop it down the drop off. Usually put it like on 12 to 15 pound test, Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon. And I really like a steep bank. That's my favorite. Steeper the better. Ideally, I like to fish some type of a bluffy bank that's got some broken rock on it. And, you know, water visibility can be pretty diverse. I like to have, you know, at least 2 foot of visibility is better. 2 to 10 foot of visibility. Just fish the jig down the bank or down the bluff or down the slope of the bank, depending upon the water clarity. If that water clarity is really clear, like over 4 or 5 foot of visibility, make sure you work that bait down into 20 or 25 foot of water, and then shallower if the water is a little bit, you know, more off color. But finesse jig is hard to beat in the month of November. Okay, the next one, guys, this is another bait you hear me talking about some, works really good in the month of November, and that's this Megabass Flap Slap. It's a shad pattern here. It's a flat-sided crankbait. Excellent lure in the month of November. Just crank and rock with it. Crank and rock, or maybe over the top of some, you know, shallow submergent hydrilla or milfoil if you have that. But you can take the flap slap in November and parallel like a riprap bank with it, or some type of a chunk rock channel bank. Excellent way to catch them. Water visibility, I like anywhere between 1 to 3 foot of clarity. Water temperatures, 50s or 60s is great for it. And just fish it on 8 to 10 pound test, fluorocarbon line, and just use, you know, some type of a medium stop and go retrieve. You're definitely going to get more bites on a flap slap with a stop and go retrieve because it flashes around. It's sort of like a cross between a crankbait and a jerkbait, the way that I like to fish it, but really a good bait for this time of year. And finally, guys, November to me sort of it signals the start of jerkbait season. So Megabass Vision 110, this is my #1 go-to jerkbait for the month of November, and that's when it all starts. And normally what you have is the month of November, I like to fish the jerkbait on points and rocky banks. You know, you're fishing shallow. You're not fishing it like the typical wintertime deal. So I'm fishing the jerkbait in November more like the same places I fish a crankbait. I'm not concerned about throwing it out there and twitch, pause, and letting it set. I'm almost like, say for example, we're throwing a crankbait or a spinnerbait down a rocky bank. That's the way I'm fishing a jerkbait. I'm going to be jerk, 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 trying to keep it in less than 5 foot of water. Now, most of the time with a jerkbait, I'm fishing it deeper, like over 15 or 20 foot of water. But in November, I catch a lot of fish on the jerkbait in less than 5 foot of water. So I don't really look at it like a jerkbait in terms of the traditional sense. I'm covering water, keeping it shallow, keeping it moving fast, fishing it usually on 8 to 10 pound test, Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon line. And another thing about the jerkbait, in November, it'll catch them under a wide range of conditions. It catches them on sunny days, cloudy days, windy days, calm days. It's a really, really good way to catch them in November, but just remember to fish a little bit shallower with that. So anyway, guys, that's some of my favorite ways to catch them in the month of November. You can't go wrong with those 5 baits that I talked about there. Again, I'll link them all in the description of the video here, and hope it helps you catch some good fish during the month of November. So we'll talk later.